Share together, okay? Yeah. Said every disciple.
So the more we use water, the more.
Inside. No problem, we have room. And this is very light.
It's like a family here, huh?
Yes, Master.
My secret.
Like a dream. Okay, don't wake up.
We have guests, in the house, so we cook for everyone. Food ready, yum yum.
Delicious.
Yeah. He ate already lunch and he ate his lunch already. He just like to feel the love. Okay, just a snack, alright? Come back, come back. 2, 3. What is that? I got anyway. I love you. Love you. I forgot to tell you to prepare whatever. Mấy cái bánh chưng đó đem ra ăn liền được không? Hay phải nấu trong nồi? Ủa không phải bánh chưng không có đâu, không phải bánh trung thu á. Rồi đem liền được hả? Tại nó bỏ trong tủ lạnh mà. Rồi ok, một lát đem ra ăn. Bây giờ mới ăn cơm chắc cũng ăn không nổi. Ok được rồi, ok, thank you. Very good. Hả? Yeah, new cameraman. It's very good. You feel better there? Yeah. You want one chair on the corner? You tough guy, yeah? Okay then. Okay, my God, look at all these people think I'm eating all this. Yeah. Do we still have some? Huh? Yesterday, you didn't tell me we have more Indonesian sweet cakes, sweet stuff. Yeah, and you make me give all my little food here to everybody first, and then you brought the surprise. Today, do you have any more of this before I give?
I asked Sophie because about that I don't know.
You don't know, yeah. You wait until I give everything, and I had just a little left, and then we have some more. Yeah, it's good like that. But you have to tell me so we don't, so I don't have to give all my precious thing from my little plate, huh? You don't want me to eat anything. That's why, huh? Okay, if we have more, we bring more, okay? But you want to eat now or later? Later, huh? Okay, later. They just ate. They don't want to go to bathroom again. That is a thing. Are you okay? Everything okay, right?
Yes.
Have a lot of... No problem? No waiting in queue for bathroom, toilet, nothing? No? Okay. Did you eat the grapes? You? Eat it all? Ăn hết hả?
Còn một.
Còn có tại sao không ăn hết đi cho rồi đi, để ngồi nó chảy nước miếng mệt. Now you're happy? My God, I'm thinking today. Sometimes I take some special people there, but normally not. No, nobody knew my cave except some Vietnamese, a couple of Vietnamese. No, nobody. You're the first group that do the tourists. No, I'm going to thinking of business right now. Yeah. Why didn't I,
from me.
everybody want to go see my cave, then we can cash in, The $5 ticket is cheap. Yeah, €5. Oh, cheaper, I mean. You are the first group that is that have a tour guide to visit my caves. Yeah, the rest are just some, several Vietnamese. Whoever cook for me and bring in and out stuff, and my dogs, and my dog's assistant, of course. Like that, Normally nobody know. Nobody know. Yeah, the whole world, nobody know. I also had the cave similar in Taiwan, but nobody know. I never thought of cashing in with the tourism. I thought I thought nobody would be interested in a cave, you know. I'm a cave woman, you knew already, so I would live in a cave. Yeah. Okay. Because the cave is made into the deep of the mountain, you know. How you say, layer, terraces, yes. And then later on, normally there's this sun porch outside did not exist, but then the dogs like to be with me also, and the cave is too small, so we extend like that. And then later, this guy come, we make a small for him. Yeah, so the kitchen has to be extra next to it, and so and so. Okay. Mm. So I hope you're happy now. Yeah? Nosy people. I gave you all my house and everything already. And you want my dog shake hand with you. You want to see my cave. You want to see my bed. Oh my God. What else you want to see? Huh? Some people look for olive trees. Yeah. Grapes, wine. Yeah. Yeah. No wonder in Rome, St. Peter's Square, they have nothing. It's truly just an empty square. Yeah. So people don't have to go there and look for olive tree, or look for a cave. Yeah. Mm. Even you live in cave, people come visit. Imagine. If it's a Monaco Palace or something, I understand. But it's just a cave. And like to look. Good. From now on, I cast. Hmm? I post a God outside. Everybody 5-year-old before. In India, I visited Jesus' tomb. Supposed to be, no? They cast me, huh? Yeah, I didn't know. I just come in and sit and meditate and pay homage to the master. And then appear from nowhere a woman. I said, oh, I don't understand. She talk in Hindi. I don't understand, of course. And she say, dollar. then I cannot pretend I don't understand. I didn't have dollar, but I have rubies, so I gave some rubies. Otherwise, she keep nagging me. She didn't let me sit and meditate there. And I can just sit for a while, and then she said, okay, chalo, go. Yeah, because if I sit longer, she casts more. Understand? So that's why I told you just have one look at my cave. That's it. Because if
Only
you,
€5 for
yeah, yeah. Because if you keep looking, then it's a double. Yeah, more. I'm thinking you
like
can make.
taximeter, it will run.
Yes, of course. I think we can make this business, huh? Yeah, so many people interested in my cave. I can cash in, $5, and then 10 people is 550. 100 is 500 euro. That's not bad. Imagine how many disciples I have. Imagine how much I cash in. No, I have nothing. I no need to do any business anymore. I just sit there with a basket. Put it in there. Big one. You got a lot of disciples, They just come one by one, put in $5, have one quick look, and out. If you want to look again, stay in queue, and put in $5 again. Yeah. They're cheap, no? Most people go into the zoo and all that, or museum, they cost all of $5, no? No? More expensive? Yeah, but let's be fair, my cave has nothing to look. In museum, they offer stuff to look. My cave, what did you see? Describe. Nothing much. Right? What is in there?
It is very beautiful, very cute, very compact.
Beautiful. Cute, compact.
Yeah, it is compact.
Huh?
Yeah, it is very compact.
Yeah, of course. I need to have. Just organize, I put boxes and together and then put something on it and it's a bed. Simple. wood box. You can put things inside, and then on top you put a mattress, and it's a bed.
One in kitchen also, plastic box it is.
Plastic. Oh yeah. These are organized in boxes. Yes, it's easier to see what's inside. It's not much anyway. You saw it. Very simple. Yeah, but I'm still thinking I must throw out a lot of stuff. Oh, I have to throw out a lot more stuff. Oh, he's smiling now. Now you wanted to see that. He's smiling. 2 teeth out.
He wants to pet, but I only no food.
No. Today no food. He ate too much yesterday. Too much sweet that today he did not eat even spring roll or sticky roll. So he didn't eat any. He know what. Yeah. Veggie bone. Yeah. Even just small like that, it takes time to clean and. No wonder all the yogis they go and live in just. It's a cave also, but
But they
cave.
don't need to clean.
Yeah, I know. It's a woman cave. That's the problem. Woman we like to clean and tidy order. But there are still some boxes I should throw out. There's so many things there because sometimes ago, for example, I was very sick, and I some wounded and all that, and operated. So need a lot of, for example, bandages, and sterilizing gauze and all that. And it take up many boxes in there, and I haven't got a chance to. I had, but I'm lazy, tired, for too many things to do. I sit in many hours doing nothing. Understand? Very busy, sitting doing nothing. Yeah. If I don't have to meditate a lot, then I have more time. Yeah. But meditate is very relaxing. Working not. Yeah. Working with humans, mostly not. That's why you're very tired when you come home. Not because of the work, but because of mixing in with a big part of humanity, different energy, disturbing your magnetic field. So, you have new friend now? Huh? Right. It's in the mountain. Sometimes it's easy to make cave, because you just work according to the contour of the mountain. Yeah. Originally, there's a mountain wall, and there live different layers, different level. But some of them, the stones that protect the land falling down, and they make a hole. So I might as well dig a little bit further, and then make a cave out of that. Yeah, very simple. Okay. Yeah, I'm checking out. Talking about Buddhist story. It's good. Just to make excuse to sit here. Yeah. Also, so to remind you of some good conduct. Stories are very good, easy to remember, and can always remind us of good things. These stories, remember. Story is easy to remember. And because the story which is related to some moral conduct, then it's easier to remember than a big sermon that I sit here and talk no end. There was a story I told you already about a priest who talks a lot. Yeah. And then at the end he realized that he did talk a lot, so he apologized. Sorry, I have forgotten my watch at home, so today I talk a little bit long. And one of the congregation say, "There's a calendar behind you." Not just hours, but days pass. Exaggerating, but it's very cute. There's a calendar behind you. He's so spoiled here, so spoiled. After all of you gone, I wouldn't know how to tell him what to do. I don't have so many hands to pet him all day. You want water or something? Hmm? Room service? Water, right? Hmm. Oh, it's funny. I lost one story that I wanted to read to you. Yeah, you wanted water, that's all. Good, huh? Eat and drink, that's your job, huh? Something about food, which is your specialty. So I was I was looking for it. According to Buddhism and the believer and the tradition, when you read sutra and all that, you have to put on incense, flower, and bow to the sutra first and thank all the Buddhas and Bodhisattva in 10 directions, all respectfully, before you read it. Okay? And then you cover the sutra also with silk or, beautiful cloth. And I just make it more popular. Yeah, more easy, simple. And I apologize to all the Buddha. I say if I done something wrong, according to the tradition, my heart is full of respect. It's just that I cannot always do that. So please, all the sin, whatever I've done wrong, is all on me. At least other people, they hear the names of the Buddha, according to the sutta, they will get benefit. Yes. Okay, probably this one. Okay. The title is called A Certain Monk. This story was given by, this instruction was given by the Buddha while he was in residence as Savatthi, with reference to a certain monk. The mind is very hard to check. That is the summary of this story. In the country of the king of the Kosalans, it appears at the foot of the mountain was a certain thickly settled village named Matika. Something wrong, huh? Now, one day, 60 monks who had received from the Buddha a subject of meditation leading to our hardship came to the village and entered it for alms. These monks, they kind of initiated, and good. What is food, huh? You want some different food? Or just petting? Food? What kind? What kind of food you want? What? What kind of food? Not now, okay? No more noise, all right? Go lay down somewhere. And quiet. Last warning, okay? So these monks, they are not just any monk which like a novice monks, but they have been like initiated by the Buddha already. Yeah, into the method that you could reach arahatship, mean high level. Okay, and then become Buddha. Yeah. So they went into a village called Matika to beg for alms for food. Yeah, 60 of them. Yeah. Now the headman of this village was a man named Matika. Oh, the village also Matika. The headman, the village chief also named Matika. When Matika's mother saw the monks, she provided them with seeds, served them with rice porridge, flavored with all manner of choice flavors, and asked them, "Reverend sirs, where do you desire to go?" She asked the monks. "To some pleasant place, great lay disciple," they answer. They call them, great lay disciple. Yeah, the monk called the mother of the head village great lay disciple. Knowing that the monks was seeking a place of residence for the season of the rains, she prostrated herself at their feet and said to them, "If the noble monks will reside here during these 3 months, I will take upon myself the 3 refuges and the 5 precepts, and will perform Uposatha day upon myself, perform Uposatha day practices." So she did not even take refuge in the 3 sangha, the 3 treasures yet. She just a normal person, and even then she was so polite, so humble. She prostrated in front of them and asked them if they would consent to stay so that she can make offering for 3 months. Because rainy season, the monks who doesn't have a lot of clothes and all that, it's very inconvenient for them to keep going out begging. Therefore, the Buddha allowed that if they have a residence, they can stay within 3 months inside. If somebody make offering for them, then they don't have to keep go out every day. Monks have only maybe a couple of robes, and a bowl. They don't have a lot of clothes so that they can get wet and go home and change like we do. Yeah. And the woman even promised that if they stay, she would become a disciple even. Yeah. Even though the monks already call her lay disciple, but she was not. Therefore, she promised if they stay, not only she will offer to them, but she will become disciples. I guess it's to make the monks feel more at ease. Yeah, not just stay in any place, any strangers, but a disciple's house and has offering for 3 months. So the monks consented, thinking to themselves, "With her assistance, we shall be free from anxiety on account of food and shall be able to effect escape from the round of existence." Matika's mother superintended the building of a monastery to serve as their place of residence, presented to them, and the monks took up their residence there. On a certain day, they met together and admonished each other as follows. Not admonished, but discussed, I guess, or reminding each other to be good. Bệnh hả? Sao vậy? Here, have some candy. No, some more. Cần thì hỏi thêm nhà bếp nha. Okay. All right. They said to each other, "Brothers, brethren, it behooves us not to live the life of heedlessness. For before us stand the 8 great hells with gates wide opened, even as our own houses. Now we have come here, thus having received a subject of meditation from the living Buddha, and the favor of the Buddhas cannot be won by a deceitful person, even though he walk in their very footsteps. Only by doing the will of the Buddhas can their favor be won. Therefore be heedful. 2 monks may neither stand nor sit in any one place. In the evening we shall meet together to wait upon the elder, and early in the morning we shall meet together when it is time to go the rounds for alms. At other times 2 of us must never be together. If, however, a monk is taken sick, let him come to the monastery court and strike the block. At the signal given by a stroke on the block, we will come together and provide remedy for him." Having made this agreement, they enter upon residence. I wonder why is that? No 2 monks should stay in the same place. Maybe talking too much. Yeah. It's unavoidable that when you see somebody, you talk. But if you see nobody, then you cannot talk, right? Yeah. That's why living alone also has advantage. You can talk to yourself. And nobody ever talk back at you. Nah? You can talk back at yourself, but that's fun. Nah? No conflict. No problem. Yeah, because they don't want. Hey, you had everything. And there's some food outside if you want to eat. Hmm? A lot of food that you did not eat. You go out eat, okay? I love you. Don't be troublemaker. Huh? Go. Love you, but go. Okay? I love you later more, okay? I'm busy now. Busy. Uh, so they kind of reminding each other to be more attentive to the spiritual practice and not making excuses to live such a comfortable buddy life. Nah? That's why they say no two monks should stay together in one place. And even if you're sick, you just strike a gong and then we bring medicine to you, but not like attending together day and night, all that. I guess just to avoid the habit of relying on company. See what you've done? Huh? See that? I give you something later, even this one later. But this is salty, cannot. Go. So that's they agree to do this thing together. Yeah, that's good. All right. So before they went into the residency, they make it clear like that we should not go there to be heedless, to be unattentive to meditation and spiritual practice, since they have already received the instruction from the Buddha in which way to reach arahat. So they have to be more attentive on that. They say we're lucky, we have a teacher to teach us already how, and now we have even a lay person to provide us everything. So we should not, Ali, huh? I told you to go out. Okay, then stay there and be quiet. He complained that he didn't want to go in. So he went out, but he stayed there and complained. So now he come inside. I want to go in, like I want to stay like that. Yeah. But he likes it that I go home. Sometimes I stay long. He keep coming around and say, "Go home."
He wants us to take rest.
Yeah, protection. I can't. I have to work. And whenever I tell him, "Okay, let's go work now," he immediately go. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Go working. But if I tell him to go somewhere where sometimes he doesn't. But if you go work in here immediately, even he was sleeping. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Work. Yeah? You want to work, right? You funny dog. Okay, that is just your clown of the class. Huh? He providing some fun. Yeah. Why? Man. I'm busy, okay? Maybe later, huh? Stop it, okay? I cannot tell you what he say. because they say to each other that suppose we are heedless, we don't take care of the spiritual practice. There are 8 hells waiting for us with gate wide open. They just scare each other, like remind each other that hells are not far. If we don't practice, we probably go down there. 8 even, 8 of them open. Yeah. Okay, so now one day while the monks were in residence, that female disciple took ghee, molasses, and other kinds of medicine, and in the evening, accompanied by a retinue of bondsmen and servants, went to the monastery. Seeing no monks, she asked some men, "Where have the noble monks gone?" So they say, "My lady, they must be sitting in their own respective night quarters and day quarters." She asked, "What must I do in order to see them?" The man who knew about the agreement made by the order of monks said to her, "If you strike the block, my lady, they will assemble, a gong or a block of wood to indicate that somebody wants to see them." Okay. If you need to see somebody, even among or outside people, that's their agreement. So she struck the block, maybe a block of wood or a bell or something. When the monks heard the sound of the block, they thought to themselves, somebody must have been sick, because they agree like that. If somebody's sick, then because they sit separately, they don't know who is sick, who not. So if one of them sick, they should strike the block to let the other know and come to help them or bring medicine or tend to them for a while, because they all sit separately. They don't want to sit and be together, as if not to obstruct or distract each other from spiritual concentration. Understand now? Yeah. It's true, huh? At home, if we're alone, it's better. We can think quicker. We can think more concentratedly. But if somebody else, maybe we don't want to talk, but the other person want to talk, and then you also, respond, and then one thing lead to another, and 1-2 hours gone by. Yeah. And if you don't pick up the phone, then you don't waste too much time. If you pick to talk to somebody, then they tell a lot of things, and then you cannot just ignore it, even if you want to. And then you become also engaged in their story, and then one thing leads to another, and then you don't have, you waste some time. You don't even remember how long, right? Yeah. Any of you like to live alone, or most you do? Both of you? And so whom do you live with now? Husband? Alone? Oh, no, husband. And you?
I was living with an initiative and now I live alone with my animals.
With your what?
I was living with an initiative, but now I live alone with my animals. 1 dog and 3 cats.
With your animals. Okay, wow, that's better. But 3 cats and 1 dog is also a lot of work, huh? The cat also a lot of work. Yeah. Friends. Yeah. And then, anybody else live alone? No? Yeah. They all live together? You all live with husband and wife, right? You live alone? No. Alone. Oh, okay. 3 lucky people? Yeah. After you live alone for some time, you will find it's a blessing. But if you never lived alone, you will not know that. In the beginning, maybe you miss company. I don't know. I never did, but maybe you do because you're so used to it, living with somebody all the time. Living alone is a blessing. Yes, truly blessing. It's you do what you want anytime, and you don't have to explain to anybody. You don't have to ask anybody permission to do this and that and other. Even husband and wife, children and parents. Sometimes you have to. Even some parents have to ask their uh, children permission to go for group meditation. Yeah, or friends. Sometimes friends try to obstruct you. for group meditation or to follow some master Ching somewhere, you know? Yeah. And then sometimes you dream of having a relationship, romantic, and have somebody to talk to. This is also nice. It's also nice. But then you always have to consider another person, like if you want to go to see a movies, you have to consider if your husband like that movies or not, or if your wife like that theater piece or not. Yeah. Because women like emotional film, mostly. Men like action, Superman, Batman, thing like that. Yeah. A woman like the Gone with the Wind or In Love Forever, thing like this stuff like that. Yeah. And sometimes the husband has to go with the woman to a very emotional romantic film and watch her, not just watch the film but watch her crying her head out next to you and wonder why she cried. Because to him it's just a film. He's more emotionally in check, stable, and not easily influenced by the movies. But the woman cry and cry all the way with the character inside. And the husband was sitting there, keep giving handkerchief and could not even watch a film. I have to comfort the wife, hold hand and stuff. Or if the women are forced to go to watch football with men, then and she just sit there, frustrated and feeling restless. Don't understand why the man just fighting for one ball. And don't understand why her husband even want to watch the people while fighting for one ball. Yeah. And this is also, even though the husband don't complain or don't say anything about the movies, the emotional, tears wrenching movies, but he feel, my God, why do I have to watch this? I could have stayed home, watch this football match, or doing something else. Yeah, but because of his wife, 'cause he loves her, he wants to make her happy, so he went with her, and feeling it's a waste of time. Likewise, the husband go to watch football, and she just sit there feeling bored. You know what I mean? Yeah. I like football. I watch it sometimes, especially World Cup. World Cup. Like some more international cup. Yeah. And then I watch it sometimes. I feel very fun, exciting. Oh, that guy, home run, kick in. There was really very good training to do that. You have to run very fast and catch the ball. The ball also running fast, and you have to run fast, and you have to outrun the other guy. And it's really exciting. And sometimes we thought having a husband and wife easy to deal with the world, but sometimes not. You lost something. You gain something. You gain a company, love, friendship, reliability together, and until old age you might have somebody to hold hand, drink coffee with after you retired. But sometimes you have to pay in a different way. No? You gain some, you lose some. You lost some of your freedom. Yeah. Even you earn money, you have to ask your husband, can I spend on this? Yeah, it's not. Why are you laughing? It's true? Oh, yeah, the woman confirmed that. Yeah. Why did you have to do that? He said, it's my money, I spend what I want. But how come he can wing his way into control you even that much? Huh? Yeah? Respect. Okay. Respect. But he let you spend or not? That is the thing. Okay, then it's not bad. That's not bad. Then you respect him. You say that. But you spend anyway, whether he say yes or no, right?
He always say yes.
Oh, then it's good. Then it's good. Good husband. Good husband. But you don't spend a lot, okay? Yeah, you just live simple. Save money for rainy days. Yeah, for the children. For you when you get older, you can't work. You never know. Yeah, you could even stop working tomorrow, when even you're still young for some reason. So I think after you get initiation from me, you become more frugal, right? Yeah. You think twice before you spend something. No? Oh, because you do that. I thought you said no. I forgot. That's Indian way of saying yes. I forgot. Yeah, I forgot. Ah, and sometimes the husband also. He's the one who earn money and bring home, but his wife control all the thing, all money. She control every money, and then and, it happened to many family I know. So when the husband went to work, the wife will give him maybe $5 for coffee, only for the day coffee. And if he wants something more, he has to ask her, as if all the money belonged to her. Yeah. And then in the name of family security and saving for whatever reason, she always tell him, no, that's enough for you. And then if he want a rise, from a $5 to $10, then there must be a good reason. Yeah. Yeah. Huh? Yeah. Many men who came work in my house, sometimes repairing things, and they brought only one bottle of water with them, and not even mineral water. She cooked, and she filled the water for him bottle, and then she make some sandwich for him in a box. That's all he had for lunch, and then he worked there, and then normally lunchtime take a break, And I say, if you feel like to go out just to take a break or drink a coffee or something, I understand. It's okay. You can come a little late. Don't matter. And he said, no, I don't have any money to go for coffee. I said, what? Then how do you eat your lunch? Huh? He said, my wife give me a bottle of water and a cup of sandwich. That's all I had. Water is all I had to drink. So I made a coffee for him, and I give him some cakes. And he was very appreciative. Yeah. But of course, they have children, and the wife is not working. Yeah. And so she has to be very, very careful about what they spend. Nah? But this is too much. Too much. You married for happiness. And then after marriage, you work like, sorry, like what, like what, okay? And earn all the money, but you cannot even spend for one cup of coffee for lunch. Yeah? It's nice to have a wife and children and all that, but to this extent, is it really worth it? And even that, not enough money. At night, he has to work a couple of hours for some nightclub. Yeah, for more money at home because they have children. And children don't just go to normal school, go to, college and all that, and cost a lot of money. And because the college is not near home, they have to rent an apartment or college campus kind of a little dent in there. Yeah, it's also cost a lot of money. Yeah, and so the parents have to tie up their belt like that. My God, it feels terrible. It feels terrible. And then one day, another man worked in my house. Not this house. Yeah. Because I live some other country. I live alone with dogs and a couple of, sometimes one dog caretaker, sometimes two. And I always have to hire people outside to come in and work to repair things, Yeah. The house is always something to repair. And then one day the one of the men, he used to work there for me before, and he was a very nice guy. He's English. It wasn't in England, but he's English person, and he repaired something, and then he told me that the other thing he cannot repair because he doesn't have tools to do that, but he will ask some of his friends, to repair for me. And then I said, but you also come, because otherwise I have to explain to him all over again. Why don't you work together with him? And then he said, okay, then I come also, but that will cost you more, no? I said, doesn't matter, it's okay, not much. A daytime, they charge you only 60 euros, something like that, yeah? One day, no? Sometimes less because of just a couple of hours, yeah? I said, don't matter, it's okay. And then I asked him, why don't you have your tools? You used to do that before. How come you don't have tools now? He said, they stole it from me. Yeah. And he said, how come? I said, no. He said, normally I just park the car outside, open truck like that with tools. He come in and out and open the door and take the tools and then work and come out again. And then one day they took everything from him. He said, since many weeks I cannot work properly. I said, I'm very sorry about that. Why don't you buy new tools? He said, oh, it costs a lot of money. I said, how much is a lot? He said, 3,000 euros. 3,000 is not a lot, really, but he couldn't afford it. So I gave him that money in an envelope. I said, here is for you. So go back to work again. So he was like almost in tears. Yeah. Such is the life outside. He's working hard, not like he's lazy or anything. He's really good boy. He worked very diligently and honestly. And somebody stole his tools like that. And only 3,000, and he couldn't afford to buy new. For the complete tools, 3,000. Handyman, plumber. Yeah. The plumber is some little electricity and he do all the things. Handyman, yeah. It was very sad. But why do I talk to you about this? Money. Money make the world go round. Okay, this is the trouble with some people. They don't always, they cannot always afford what you think they can. Even tools to work, to live on. Yeah, because a handyman or plumber, they don't always have to work. He work for himself, you see. So only when people call him, then he has work to do. If don't call, no work. Yeah. So someday he earn a lot, and then have to pay for the other day. And of course he has house and wife. And why did I help him? Because he's such a good man. Honest man, he didn't charge more than usual. I always give him extra because I feel he work a lot and one day only 60 euros, not much. So I always give him more, 100 or something like that. I say, keep the change. And he likes it. And whenever I call, no matter what time, he comes. Yeah. Because he thinks I'm also very nice. But why do I help him? Not only that, but he has a mother-in-law with him. Yeah. And his mother-in-law is very sick. So he and her, because I also asked him, your wife working or not? He said, no. She has to stay home and take care of my mother-in-law because she's very sick. So we brought her from England here so we can take care of her every day. Otherwise, over there, nobody does. So I was very touched. You see, the man who's so good like that, take care of mother-in-law. You see, not even his mother. So he said, "Wow, my God, you are so kind." He called my name Love. I don't tell him the name ever because we come in and he work outside. I just come in and say, "Here you are." I never asked his name. He never asked my name. So he called me Love. He talked to my assistant and say, "That lady, Love, is she home?" Something like that, And tell Lady Love I thank her so much. Thing like that. Because sometimes I ask my helper to bring cakes out or coffee. I don't bring. So I say, tell Love I thank her very much. He's so cute. he give me that name, so I like it. And he seemed very, very, very good person, Yeah, a man who don't complain about mother-in-law, stay in the house. Nobody like a mother-in-law to stay in your house. Mostly no, to begin with, right? Not everybody. Mostly people don't like, intrude in their privacy, demanding or bossy or all kind of thing. Two different generation, big gap. So, but he took care of mother-in-law with so willingly like that. He talked about him as if with love, you know what I mean? As if he's his own mother. Yeah. That's why I liked him, as I helped him. Yeah. And but nobody else come and complain like that. Otherwise, I give all the many workers come to my house. and all losing tools, and I be in trouble. Because I don't always have a lot of cash in my house. I have some, but not a lot, not all the time. And I don't want to give him check. Yeah. Yeah, if you're working all by yourself, or if I'm working here, for example, that I'm more protected. Like I will not have to know much about the suffering outside. Yeah. But if I be alone, then I have to deal with all this myself also. It's in a way, I'm not meaning to complain. What I mean is that here I would not remember much about the suffering outside, and I don't contact. Yeah, of course, I instruct some people here to give donation to which and which organization in around us, around this area. Yeah, but I don't contact truly with this, so real life like that. But when I'm alone, I do know a lot more. So I gave more. I gave more donation to different situation. Yeah. Okay, where were we? Money, money, money. Yeah. And then what? Ah, I forgot where were we. Where was that? Monks. Ê, stretch out, stretch out. Bỏ chân ra cho nó khỏe. Ngồi mất công. Okay? Stretch out. Stretch your legs. Ah, so you want me to talk the rest tomorrow? More comfortable? Huh? Every day half? Because not just a story, but I go all over the world.
Interesting.
What?
It's more interesting.
More interesting? Yeah. Okay. If you say so, yeah. Yes, truly, people outside, they work very hard for very little money. And he is not the only one like that, not the only one. There are some even worse, could not even work. Imagine a man, like last time in Africa, one boy, he just need like 30 pounds so that he can buy a little farm. And then he can plant his own crops, and then, with animal plowing the field and all that. 30 pounds only, English money. Then he can take care of his whole family, elder, grandma and all that, and little children as well. 30 pounds. Then he can own a piece of land. He can build his house in some area like that in Africa. Yeah. I don't remember how much I gave, but I gave more than 30 pounds, of course. Yeah. And I'm sure that make him feel heaven. I'm sure I never met him. I would never have a chance to know him because I gave it through a newspaper who wrote about his story, about that story for him. Yeah. So I gave it through that newspaper. So I would never had a chance to even know who he was and what he looked like. But I imagine he was such a young boy, but he has ambition. He wants a land to build his little hut for his grandmother, ailing grandmother, and then he can plant vegetable, he can plant, things to harvest, and then he can sell, and then he can make money and buy medicine for her and all that. So it was very touching. So even though I don't know him at all, and I never will, but I imagine when he received my money from so far away, at that time I was in England, he must have been overjoyed, feel like heaven bless him, and that made me feel happy for many days. And now I talk about it, many years pass already. I still so happy because I know what it's like. Yeah, when you have nothing at all and you can't take care of your grandma, and then you suddenly have such a big sum of money. For him it is big. Imagine how he feel. Yeah, how I feel if my dream come true like that. Yeah, understand? It's enough for him to buy a lot more lands or save in the bank, and for rainy days, a lot. I remember, I make sure that it lasts, not just a land. Okay, in case after the land he has to buy more things. like seeds to plant, and then maybe a cow to plow the field, and maybe some tools, and medicine for mother and grandmother. Maybe grandmother will feel more ill and must go hospital, and you know what? Everything extra, huh? Yeah, I was so happy. My God, because such a small money and make the whole family alive. Understand? You don't know, in some country, the money that you spend in your coffee shop just one time could let them live for 1 month in some country, you know. So we are very lucky people. We should never complain. Yeah. With every kind of money you earn here in the West, you can always live comfortably. You don't have to live luxuriously, of course not, but comfortably. Yeah. Not like the boy there, and not like the old man that I wrote in the poem, and not like the what was that then? Oh, the man without tools. My God, because he spent all the money on his mother-in-law. That's why he couldn't buy new tools. He lost it many weeks already. He couldn't buy, and without tools, he's like handicapped, you know. And he's England. He's English, but he doesn't live in England. He couldn't borrow anything. Yeah. Nobody around him to borrow. You understand? Yeah. Just like I'm Vietnamese, but I live in Europe. I don't have any brother, sister around, family or relatives to fall back on. Nothing. Yeah, you are my family, but you're not always here. Yeah, you're not always here for me. Well, I don't want nothing from you anyway. I take care of myself. Yeah. So this is the thing with the world, huh? Yeah, this world make us really, really busy and worry, anxious, nervous, because you never know if you lose your money, lose your job, and then you lose your house, and then you end up where? Understand? That's why you always have to save money. You have to worry about work. And even after retirement, you have to take care of little retirement money that you have, because it's not much for your children, or when you're ill more than usual. Understand? It's always about money. It's trouble. It make you worry no end from the day you were born. No, it's too exaggerated, but no, maybe even inside the womb, your mother worry, also. Yeah, well, they say like that. They say when the children are not born yet and in the womb of the mother, if you look at beautiful picture for girl, a handsome picture or saintly picture, then your child will born influenced by that, by the look and by the mentality. And if you read, even your child is still in your womb, but you keep reading good, whatever you read good for him, then he will be influenced by that. Imagine. So he worry already about money since inside the womb. Because your worry is his worry. Yeah. He knows everything. He's a soul. Yeah. So I cannot say that he doesn't worry about money since before he was born even. So I did not really exaggerate, no? I say even better, I say since the day you were born, but no, actually before you were born. I should. I'm telling you, terrible. So there are some people who don't dare to spend a lot of money, and that is understandable. Understandable. Yeah? Yeah. Especially when you have children, you have family, then you always have to think, save it for the children in case. In case you die suddenly somehow, then your children has something to rely on. Meanwhile, etc. This is a condition of the world. It doesn't even your personality. It's not even your background. It's a condition of the world. Make you worry like that. Yeah. But the wife don't spend too much money, okay? Husband also not. And then relax with each other a little bit. Okay? if it's understandable, do not control too much. Yeah, but your husband didn't control you, right? No, how much you make anyway? It's worth to control? No?
It's very generous.
Generous, yeah. No, but you earn your own money. Why is he generous? With your money, he's generous. Is that correct?
He has more money than mine.
And you? Oh, okay. So he let you spend your money.
Yes.
That's generous, right? Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, this is funny. She's even grateful for that he let her spend her earn money. Funny. You funny. And saying even he's very generous. Oh, thank you. Okay, good. At least he don't control your money, huh? Yeah. And any man, his wife control money or not? Your wife control your money? Hmm? No? What?
Are you sure?
Are you sure? Okay, are you sure? And you, how about you?
No, I control.
You control the money. Typical. And how about you guys? Wife control money or you control?
I control.
You control. You think you control. Hả? Không là sao?
Chưa có gia đình.
Hả?
Chưa có gia đình.
Chứ có gia đình thì thôi khỏi đừng có. No, it's okay. Oh, that's why he doesn't know.
My husband used to come and give me his pay every week, but after 5 years he realized it was a big mistake to give me the money
I don't understand.
because I'm not good with money.
Oh, so
If
he...
the money is better, he keeps it
Ah.
for the family because
Uh-huh.
he has more talent with money.
Uh-huh.
I will buy presents for everybody.
Of course, with his money, you easy. Okay, so now he controls, right? Well, I serve you right because you didn't
It's okay, it's good.
appreciate his earned money.
The less I have, the less I spend. It's better.
Yeah.
Give me €5, I only use spend 5. If I have 100, I spend 50.
Oh, okay. Okay, try to be more reasonable. Okay, yeah. Because your family has to come first. Yes, of course you can buy present to other people. That is very nice. But you have to consider your family safety and future first. Because your children will grow up. And they will need, now maybe they need less. So you think, oh, you have a lot of money, no problem. But they grow up, they will go to school. Yeah, and then they will go to college. And then they will need a lot of other things. You have to raise them at least until 20 something years old. And you need a lot of saving in the bank account. Not just today, but just for future. Understand that? Okay, so if he control, then it's good. In that case. In that case. Okay. It depends, huh? Depends. Not like controlling is not good. Yeah? Not like always the same case. Different cases, yeah. If you know that you are too much of a spending spree, then it's better he control it, huh? Your family come first, and then you can give, but accordingly, okay? Not spending all his hard-earned money. To work outside to earn money is very stressful. To work in any way is stressful. So the money you have to appreciate and save it. All right. You want to say something?
There is a story on this also.
About money also? You want to say something?
Story. There is a story if you want.
The what?
There is a story on this also.
Oh, tell me.
In India, we had one great
Yeah, he has it.
emperor, Akbar. Akbar was a great emperor in India.
Ah.
He had his one gestal known as Birbal. One day they were walking, so Akbar told it is man's world, Birbal, and Birbal did not agree with him. Birbal said, no, it is all women's world.
What?
Birbal told to Akbar, it is all women's world.
This is a woman's world? Because the other one say this is a man war. I understand.
Okay. Then Akbar told, it is not true. Let's have a meeting. So he called all the people of his country and told everybody who comes here should come with a proper thinking. So when everybody came, Akbar told people who has who is not slave of his wife should come to this side.
Who is not slave for
Of
his wife
should come
on
to
right
this side.
Okay.
And who is not should stand on this side.
Who not afraid of wife, not slave for
stand on
wife,
this
stand
side.
on left side. Okay.
So everybody came on one side.
On one side.
Except one fellow who was very thin and weak fellow, very thin, weak fellow.
Weak and thin. One
he was
stay on
standing
the
on
other
that
side.
side.
Yeah.
Akbar said, okay, at least one fellow is brave.
Brave. Not afraid of wife.
So Akbar asked this fellow, why have you stood here? Why you have not gone that side? The man said, when I came from my house, my wife told me, don't go that side where everybody goes.
Don't go where everybody goes. You don't understand? Yes? Good. Okay then. All right, good. So I go back to the Buddha or we continue with the...
Is he that man? Is he that man?
He's the one? Okay. Yeah, I have similar story, And then the man say, my wife told me don't listen to stranger. And then similar story like man, everybody afraid of a wife come together, and then they want to select a chairman of the group who is not really afraid of wife at all. Everybody afraid of their wife stay on the right side. Everybody who not afraid of their wife stay on the left. So everybody go to the right. Only one guy stand on the left. So they voted him chairman. Okay. And then they were just talking and, relying on him because he's a tough guy and praise him and all that. And then suddenly other wives came. They were having a celebration, ceremony to elect him as chairman. So they put on incense and all that in front of Buddha, and he knelt in front of the altar to swear to be loyal to the club and protect all the henchmen or the, weak men, under his protection. Okay, he was kneeling there, and they make him swear and all that. And in the middle of the ceremony, he was still kneeling there. And other wives came and said, what are you guys doing here? At home, there's nobody wash dishes. Clothes is dirty, house not clean, children not fed, and you're sitting here together doing what? And everybody run away. Except one man, is the man who's supposed to be chairman, is still kneeling there. So after all the wives left chasing all the men and they escaped, and then after a while, all the wives left, they came back and saw the chairman still kneel there. I said, wow, this is a man that we really need to follow and, the example. And then they came and looked at him, he dead, too frightened.
Oh,
Scared to death, frozen to death. The hero done, gone. He too scared, he could not even run away. Yeah, they could have asked him, why he stand on the left side. They didn't ask. They thought, whoa, he's tough, so desperate.